Ms Legalista, aka Attorney Sheila here. Imagine that you could go buy a new truck, a new car, get a loan for it, and then only make like one interest payment and it be yours. Well, there's this new article that Reuters put out. Clarence Thomas loan report spurs new ethics criticism of US Supreme Court. I think when you actually go to the document, I don't know that it spurs so much an ethics criticism of the whole US Supreme Court as it does sort of make you wonder what went on with this transaction. Let me see if I can pop over to it so we can take a look at the actual document that they're talking about. There was this memorandum that went out, and you see that here. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. All right, a little bit bigger. Okay, memorandum from the Finance Committee, Democratic staff, to Chairman Ron Wyden, Senate Committee on Finance. RE Clarence Thomas did not repay entire principal on $267,230 loan from Tony Welters. Tony is supposed to be one of his friends. Well, you know, sometimes friends do things for you, right? You take your friends out to dinner or to lunch. Maybe you pay for friends' drinks. You split tabs or something like that. Maybe if you have friends with a nice pocketbook, a big bank, a big wallet, maybe they make you personal loans and look out for you. In this case, though, we're talking about a Supreme Court justice, and there are rules around receiving gifts and reporting requirements. So let's jump into this executive summary here that says that they reviewed loan documentation indicating that Justice Clarence Thomas received a $267,230 loan from Tony Welters, which was used to purchase a luxury motor coach. Now, further into this, they actually talk about the kind of motor coach that it is, but I think I was able to pull it up, and I think this is it. I want us to take a look at this for a second. Let's scroll. This is the website for Marathon Coach, and I think that's what it says. Let me scroll back down here through the document because it says somewhere to buy a Prevost Marathon motor coach, and the list price was the loan amount that I quoted earlier. So this is the Marathon Coach website. I take it this is what they're talking about. They've got some videos and some photographs here, but I want to go over and see if we can find one of these. Oh, look, here's their inventory. Let's go to the gallery and see if we can find one of these kinds of motor coaches that they are talking about. Now, I won't find the exact one because there's not that much information in there. But as you can see, they have a variety of different kinds here. Now, I could make a joke that this might be the one that Clarence Thomas would get. Let's click on this one and see what it is. Marathon Coach 1366 is what we have here. Let me scroll down so we can take a look at it. All right, these things are huge. I mean, you have to be going somewhere. You have to be wanting to go somewhere. Oh, yes, we have some pictures. Let's click on these pictures so that we can see what's going on. So you're talking about something very nice. You can see here it's got nice seating. You've got a table area, a little kitchenette. This is like a house on wheels, and I think some of us have heard that before. Nice little built in there. You can see flooring. They've got it decorated, so you see some things in here. It's set up to show for the website. You've got sort of, I guess, this turning recliner here, and maybe this is the fridge right here. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell for sure. And we can see a bedroom way back there in the back. You see that? Let's see here. Yeah, let's see if we can get a little closer. So this looks like it's part of the bathroom. That's a very small sink. That is tiny. That's tiny. Okay, you can wash your hands and you can brush your teeth, and that is about it. We got the toilet right there. Here's the shower, so we can see that a little bit. And I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing much of the picture here. There's the shower. So here's the bedroom at the very back, and then you see that bathroom way back there. So this is a nice setup. It looks like you've got a little TV there. So this may be something very similar to what Clarence Thomas had purchased. I'm not sure. They don't really state the exact model number in there. but at least this gives us an idea of what this motor coach may look like. I don't know. And then from the bedroom, we can see back out. Let's go through a few more of these so that we can get a good idea of what it was he was buying. So this is the bathroom that's at the end of the bedroom part. This is very nice. They've got a lot of built-in cabinetry here. I would not have expected that. Washer and dryer, if you're going to be on the road, what did I say? A house on wheels, right? He was purchasing a house on wheels. I would love to hear information about where people saw this thing show up. I guess, they're making, he and his wife are going on, long distance trips. They've got a washer and dryer here where they can wash and dry things. And then you can see the very front up here, this part up here, you've got the seating and I guess another pull down TV there. Looks like it drops down from the ceiling. And then you can see, I think these are shades. You've got all the shades that you get to pull down for privacy. Yes, let's get a little closer up front. Okay, there you go. So you can see, whoops, let's go back. You can see the chair here, very nice. Look at all of these panels. I mean, there are a lot of controls here. I never would have expected that. I mean, this gives us a really good idea of, what he may have been purchasing. And I don't know what just happened with this, but apparently I went to JPEG or something and now it's not working right. All right, let's go to the next page. Then we get to see the front seat passenger side here. Yeah, and then this is looking back. So I think that pretty much gives us a good idea of what he may have purchased. So let me go back here to the rest of this document because now we know there was this loan of a certain amount and we just got a really good idea of this motor coach that he may have purchased. And since I'm not sure, that's why I'm saying I'm not sure if that's the exact kind. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's go back. So, all right. While additional documents pertaining to the loan agreement may exist, documents reviewed by Democratic staff suggest that Justice Thomas did not repay a significant portion of the loan principal. Imagine that, again, going into a place to buy a vehicle and in the end, getting the vehicle and not really having to pay the principal that was due on the vehicle. All right, so it says forgiveness of the loan results in a taxable event for Justice Thomas. Under tax rules, forgiveness of the entire principal by Welters requires Justice Thomas to include up to that amount in taxable income and report that amount on his tax filings. Justice Thomas did not disclose this forgiven debt on his ethics filings, raising questions as to whether he properly did this for his tax returns. Now, I sometimes, as an attorney, get documents from clients that I need to forward to them because there may have been some forgiveness with something and they may have to report it as income. Okay, so here's sort of the background. So there was, I guess, some reporting from the New York Times regarding this undisclosed financial arrangement. The thing I want you to look at here is this date. According to these reports, in 1999, so we now have this report 2023. We are talking about almost 25 years later. I don't know. Do people still have these documents around? I'm just wondering because I don't hold on to documents quite like that. According to these reports, in 1999, Welters personally loaned Justice Thomas an unspecified amount of money to help finance the purchase of a luxury vehicle, which he still owns today. Thomas used the proceeds to buy a Prevost Marathon motor coach, and there's the price. And Welters was listed as a lien holder. So it says these reports raised serious questions regarding the terms of the loan. And it says here, including the dollar value of the loan, the interest rate charged, the amounts of the loan that were repaid, forgiven, or discharged. So here's the thing. In response to questions from the New York Times, Welter stated that the loan was satisfied in 2008, but did not address whether it was repaid. Wait until I get to this part where he says how he determines or how he comes to the decision that it has been satisfied. I'm telling you, if we all could only have people come to us and say the very same thing. All right, new evidence indicates that Justice Thomas failed to repay a significant portion of the principal. It says, let's go down here. There's a handwritten note. Okay, so here's the information. A handwritten note from Justice Thomas on Supreme Court stationery dated December 6, 1999. I guess for government purposes, these are public documents and you're holding on to it. Although this sounds like it was a personal document, although because it could have been an ethics issue, it should have been reported. So I don't know. There are just a lot of questions about why a handwritten note about somebody's personal loan would even still be around. I just have a lot of questions. I don't understand this. Committee staff reviewed a handwritten note dated December 6, 1999 from Thomas to Welters, written on Supreme Court stationery, okay? So not on his personal stationery. The note references a promissory note and security agreement and says the document should accurately reflect the understanding, okay, between the two of them. And it says that Thomas will comply with it. So then you have this promissory note, and it's signed by both Justice Thomas and his wife. It shows the amount. It says it has an interest rate of 7.5%. Some of you might want that percent right about now. Interest payments on the note were due and payable annually each year on December 31st. And the principal and all accrued unpaid interest was due no later than the maturity date of the note. The stated maturity date was December 31st, 2004. Okay, so 2004 is when he's supposed to pay all this money back. So then you have this security agreement, okay? Now here's the addendum to the note, dated December 31st, 2004. Remember, that's the maturity date. That's when he's got to pay it all back. It says committee staff reviewed this, and it extended the maturity date of the promissory note by 10 years. So now we've gone from 2004 to 2014. Again, imagine you go in to buy your new Yukon or your new, I don't know, Toyota, and they're just like, oh, don't worry, we're just going to extend it out another 10 years, and you just pay that annual interest at 7.5%. All right, so it says the addendum made clear the unpaid principal on the loan continued to bear interest and that annual interest payments would be due. All right, so let's scroll down here. Bank check. Bank check from Clarence Thomas to Anthony Welters, dated December 21st, 2000. We got a check now. Again, y'all, it's like 23 years later. Who's holding on to this stuff? And granted, this was a while back. They didn't just review this now. Committee staff reviewed a check from First Union National Bank, dated December 21, 2000. The check was from Clarence Thomas to Anthony Welters in the amount of, and you see that amount here, and staff calculated what that is actually 7.5% of that total amount that was borrowed. So it looks like it's an interest payment. All right. And it was dated December 21st. So remember, he was supposed to make interest payments December 31st of every year. All right, so then we have this additional handwritten note. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where all of you are probably saying, I would like one of those. Can I get that kind of, I don't know, financial agreement when I get ready to go buy my next vehicle? Committee staff reviewed a handwritten note dated November 22nd, 2008. So now we're at 2008. From Welters to Thomas. Welters' note states that Thomas has been paying Welters interest only on Thomas's bus for many years. And that may very well be the case. As they stated in this document, they really didn't have all of the documents. There could have been other documents out there. They don't really know. So let's be mindful for a second about the fact that they're making a report based on just the documentation that they have or have seen. There could possibly be other documentation out there. It says, Welters' note indicates that after Thomas's upcoming payment, Welters would no longer seek further payments from Justice Thomas on the loan because, according to Welters' note, Welters believed that Thomas had paid interest greater than the purchase value of the bus, and that Welters did not feel it was appropriate to continue to accept payments, even though he had the right to them. So now he's just said, hey, well, you've been paying since, 2001, 1999, whatever it was, 1999. You've been paying since 1999. It's now 2008. So I guess that's around 9 years. I think that's enough. If you've been paying 20,000, then yes, that almost gets you up to it, but not really close. And that's really only the interest. So I don't know. His argument, his reasoning, I don't know. But If it's a personal relationship, if it's a friend or a family member, then you do those kinds of things, right? It says Welters believed that Thomas paid interest greater than the purchase value, and he did not feel that it was right to keep asking for money. See, that's a real friend for you right there. That's a real friend for you. So, the question is, if that was the case, if the rest of it were forgiven and he didn't have to pay it, then he would have to report that as income. And there's some questions around him not reporting that in terms of uh, ethics requirements. So yeah, so they have tax consequences arising from it, and that's pretty much it. So this is definitely, again, it's not the kind of thing that we see very often for the rest of us. It does bring up a number of questions about this deal. Now, I'm not really going to get into the politics of it. I'll let you handle that. But just making a note that if you're in this situation, I'm putting my attorney hat on here now so that we can walk away with a lesson or two. If you're in a situation, for instance, where you have some consumer debt or some other obligation that's out there, and now you don't have to pay this monetary payment back, then it may be a taxable event for you. You may have to report it on your taxes that this amount is income to me and I have to report it and pay taxes on it. So that's your real takeaway from this, and not the fact that you can get some sort of deal like this, because most of us aren't going to get that kind of deal unless we've got nice friends in place. All right, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing, and don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.